Hey Greg, I wanted to let you know your box made it just fine. I wanted to get this opened up for you and we can look at the condition of the watch as arrived together. So we'll go ahead and get this unpackaged here and get your watch out of the box. Okay, so got both your watches here. Alright, so let's start first with UFO. And we'll do a somewhat longer evaluation video of the Pogue. Okay. Alright, let's set your Pogue aside for a sec. Let's go ahead and have a look. Do a real close up here. Okay. Alright, the UFO. Alright, looks like we lost a hand, but I think we knew that already. Excellent watch. So 76, so February 76, 6138, 0011. Alright, so yeah, it shouldn't be too much of a problem to evaluate and try and get this hand back on. Sometimes if they have been reset a few times, that keyed surface can become a little bit worn, and over the years they just sort of, you know, tend to have an issue. So one thing to note, I will point out, I'm going to try and zoom here just a little bit more. All right, so get you centered up here. So I don't know, that mark there on your loom, that's actually a hole. I hope that wasn't from interaction here, but I'll see if I can stabilize this on the backside just to make sure it doesn't go anywhere. But we'll get this taken out and make sure that there are no lasting issues here with having your sweep hand in place. So let me just go ahead and open this up, and that way we can make sure we get this out without doing any damage. So here we are. Okay. Go ahead and get you back off. All right. So don't see any obvious servicing marks in your case. Yeah, you've got some serious pitting here in your sealing surface, so that's something certainly to keep in mind as we go forward with the watch. But let's get your case ring out. Oh, that's interesting. So this also has a very old seal stuck down in here, which in a sense was serving as the spacer because you don't have your spring in your on your keeper here. So this is your movement ring, and you're supposed to have a an actual spring there. So I don't know if I have one in stock for a 6138, but I will look, and I can certainly get them. That's not a problem. Of course, the mail these days is a little bit slow, but we'll see what we can do. So there's that. And now let's go ahead and get this flipped over. All right, so let's very gently remove your hand here. Looks somewhat original, which is nice. Okay, so overall, dial is in very good shape. Your Seiko could get cleaned just a little, but overall, I like the condition that I'm seeing. You know, you have some older loom that's definitely seen a little bit of water. Let's just see. We'll have to do some deeper investigation here just to see what the situation is with your sweep hand here. Let me take a quick look. I'll put it under the microscope and see what the condition is really down in the tube. Yeah, it may just be a matter of replacing it and making sure it's in good shape. But overall, you know, it's in pretty decent shape. It could stand for a cleanup, that's for sure. There's some age here, but I won't do anything without consulting you first. So we're not going to do any real restoration of the watch without talking about what you really want to be done, for sure. So overall, looks original. Your movement seems to be it's hazy. It needs a service. Your case is in pretty good shape. Other than these sealing surfaces, looks like the exterior of your case is pretty nice. But I would be very careful around water with this watch, even as we go forward with the surface. With new seals, it's going to have issues with those surfaces. We definitely need a retaining ring spring. So this spring that's supposed to be on here is missing. You had an old seal that had been put in place just to hold the watch movement in place without moving around. So we'll get back to this one. I think we know what we need to do. I'm going to go ahead and put your hand in a nice secure little home here. Make sure it's not floating around on the bench. And get my special hand tweezers here. Make sure that's happy. Okay, so it's in this little house. Put your movement aside. Okay, let's go ahead and look at your Pogue real quick. Check its condition. All right, so let's do just a sort of brutal evaluation of the Pogue. Let's look at it really closely and see what we got. Okay. All right. So, I have to say it's looking a little rough. Okay, so let's really dig in. I can begin with faults that I see, and I'm sure that you can see them too. First of all, let's talk about the good. Case looks good. I like the case. It's in good shape. It's got nice case lines, not over polished. Maybe a bit of polish, but not much. I really like this tacky on the outside. It shows the wear of the watch and the age. That's really great. You have an original rotating ring, which does rotate, so that means we've got good stuff going on inside your stem, which is okay. Sorry, let me get you framed here a little better in this. All right, so that's the good. The bad is you've got a very worn dial that's seen some rough treatment over its life. It does look original, but you're missing quite a bit of loom. You're missing some of your surface. Some of the writing, of course, has been worn away. You do not have original hands, although I think perhaps your sweep. It's hard to say. So this second hand, I think, has been bent back into place. Or I'm sorry, sweep hand has been bent back into place to perhaps reset back at 0, which it doesn't quite do. But it is bent and painted. So it's been painted red. It's been, reconfigured a little bit to make it go back. I'm pretty sure the loom just looks too good on these hands to be original to this particular dial. I'm not sure if they're aftermarket. Certainly your hour hand looks to be aftermarket. I'm not sure about the minute hand. It does have some wear on it that sort of indicates that it might be original. Okay, so clearly this watch has come from some portion of the Middle East. Not sure. Let's see what the number is on the back. So that's kind of worn away. This is 6002. So from 876, 6139, 6002. Let's take a really close look at your movement if I can get your case back off. You got some polish here on your back and clearly some real damage here. It's taking a bit of a beating on the back here, but we'll see what we can do if we can get that off. Okay, certainly not by hand. Let me go ahead and get this on a machine, and that way I can try and get this back off. I'll be right back. So off the machine. Let's go ahead and get your case back off. All right. Well, it looks to me as though the movement itself looks all right. At first glance, of course, you know, there's some well, that's odd. It seems your oscillating weight has taken some blows. I'm not sure why that is, but we'll take a close look at that. It's running, which is always kind of fun to see. You know, it's I've seen better, I've seen worse. You definitely have some mainspring arbor issues, so that would have to be done in order to get the movement back into good working condition. Overall, you know, it's a runner. I don't see, it's had some pitting on the inside. I'm curious about the consistency of the components. So the reason I say that is the following. A lot of times, if these watches come from parts of the world that are out to put watches together in order to sell them, what they'll find are pieces that look good and put them with pieces that need some help. And so, for example, your back of your case has seen some real work in terms of polishing, but that's not necessarily consistent with this part of the case. The lines themselves, they're not as sharp as perhaps a original, so they have been polished. At least this side, the sides have been polished a bit, and that is perhaps consistent with the back. So maybe that's a mischaracterization, but certainly somebody has worked on your case a bit. Chronograph seems functional, which is good. We can watch for the tick over of the minute counter. What I'm uncertain about is the worthwhileness of salvaging parts that are perhaps past salvaging. For example, your sweep hand, I could try and strip off the paint and repaint it. Not sure you want me to do that when we could find a very nice replacement sweep hand in the aftermarket. Your dial, you know, it's lacking. in condition. So you have good turnover there. So you've got a good click of the second hand, or the minute hand, to count over the sweep. So that's good. We can reset. Yeah. So overall, you know, it's a functioning watch. That's a good place to start. Like I said, I've started with a heck of a lot worse. You know, if you want to do a full restoration on this watch, you're starting with a movement that's running. Well, it was running. Seems to be running again. That's good. It will need a couple parts. I can see from here there are some pieces and things that have seen some damage over the years. This oscillating weight has definitely seen some pieces. Maybe it's just cosmetic, hopefully not in the function. But yeah, certainly, you know, this watch has seen some hands inside of it. I want to look close. Ooh. So we'll definitely need perhaps a new stem and new crown. I'm not sure what I'm seeing here, but somebody has actually soldered on a component with a gear. I may be able to get this solder off. I probably can to salvage this. I hope I can. Wow, I have never seen that before. So what you got here is your crown and stem, and there should be a gear and a spring. But what you have is you have a very strange gear that I've never seen before, and it looks like solder connecting your stem, this gear, and your crown. Now, solder is good in the sense that you can get rid of it. The other thing I would notice here is that this may be already an aftermarket crown. It does not have a dimple. Usually these do have a bit of a dimple in the center. So we've got some work to do here and some investment to make on that. Overall, you know, it's a functioning movement. Cosmetically, I have some concerns. Some of the pieces look like they've been cobbled, which gives me a little bit of concern about what's going on inside the movement. That doesn't mean that it won't function and it won't work and we won't be able to get it right. But when you see work like this, you start to get a little bit concerned about what may lie within. So I'm going to send you this. You know, let me know what you want to do. I'm happy to go as far as you want or as deep as you want into this watch. We'll go ahead and get your 6138 serviced, put back together. I think that's what you wanted to do, service on the UFO. I'll hold off on any deeper inspection on this till I hear from you. I definitely have to order a few parts for your UFO. At least have to get you a retaining spring, and that will be a few dollars, and that'll come in the mail. So we'll see how that does. But on this one, I want to wait for your call on this. Okay, so I'll send you these videos put together, and we'll go ahead and get started on your UFO in the next day or so. So, okay, thanks for your patience, and I look forward to hearing back from you.